Greetings, math friends. I'm going to take a look at an interesting work of fiction here. You're probably all familiar with science fiction, and I love science fiction. But there's another fiction out there that you may not be aware of. That is mathematical fiction. The Mathematical Association of America has published Reality Condition, Short Mathematical Fiction. This is by Professor Dr. Alex Kasman. And on the back, they give him credit as being a leading expert in the area of mathematical fiction. If you're unfamiliar with Professor Kasman, he has on his university website a page dedicated to mathematical fiction, not his own necessarily, but it's a collection from around the world, I think, essentially, of different instances and examples of mathematical fiction. This is in the realm of movies, short stories, books, things like that. But he wrote this book to fill in the gaps, essentially. He saw some areas where he could bring his mathematical knowledge, being an actual mathematician, into the field of fiction to have some more robust and interesting stories with some realistic mathematics. So let's take a look at the table of contents here. Maybe before we get to the table of contents, the preface here, I underlined the statement, interdisciplinary class in which we would read fiction and discuss its mathematical aspects. A potential course that you might be interested in, he's written a course proposal for this. There are a variety of different fun courses that you can find at universities. So this is really bringing aspects of literature and mathematics together into one idea. So whether you read this for fun or perhaps you find this as a university class, this is, I found it to be an enjoyable work here, and it would be nice to see more of this show up. I have enjoyed his webpage, and I have enjoyed mathematical fiction that I found, whether it's through his page or not. All right, so here's our table of contents. We have unreasonable effectiveness. Depending on your background, you may recognize that phrase. Eugene Wigner is famous for this phrase. We have Eye of the Beholder. This is a common phrase here. Reality Conditions, which is the title of the book here. This is an interesting way that this title is used. Math Code, kind of a generic title. Corollary, we know that's an important term in mathematics. Monster, you may realize, is a known term in mathematics. Maxwell's equations, well known in mathematical physics. Center of the universe, there's been the question in history and theology of the center of the universe. And then we have the legend of Howard Thrush here, which is based on the idea of the American folk legend. All right, so we have it's just short stories. We don't have pictures in here. We have a number here, but we don't really have calculations. As we get a little deeper in here, maybe let's flip in here to the math code. We do have some mathematical symbology in here and here. There was an interesting vocabulary word that he used to kind of describe this, and I wanna pull that out here. In the back of this, he, for each short story, talks about any reality that might have been an inspiration and a part of the short stories that he does, and he uses this term argot, and that was a new word for me. I was not familiar with that. This was a secret language known by smugglers and kind of the criminal element. So it's interesting that he uses that term there. So some mathematical symbology, we saw the number earlier. And then we have in center of the universe, we have some hexadecimal code here. It's hexadecimal with use with the ASCII encoding for computers. So this is translatable. We see again near the end of the story some more of this hexadecimal ASCII code. Several really interesting concepts in here. Use of mathematics and technology, use of mathematics with extraterrestrial communication, use of mathematics in just fun, fantastical ways. This was an enjoyable book to read. I like that he included this author section at the end to talk about the real mathematics behind the fictional stories, including like journal references. So I mentioned earlier, unreasonable effectiveness is a known phrase from Eugene Wigner. He has the title here and then the journal that appeared in 1960. And we see other references as well. Textbooks that he took direct quotes from, some historical information and references to an outside website. So I really like this section to add on to the fictional part of it, so that you can get an educational piece out of this. If you're not familiar with the mathematics being discussed, you can come back here and see some of what you could go further with in studying. Again, at the end here, we have this nice short biography about the author. We see one of the first statements here that he received his PhD in mathematics from Boston University in 1995, and goes on to show some of his credentials and area of study. Not related to this book, but certainly related to the author. I believe he's recently released a nonfiction textbook on solitons. So there's, if you're interested in his actual research, there is information out there where you can see what he's really into. So a really fun, enjoyable book. Again, if you like science fiction and you like mathematics, this is a different take on that. And I think he's really trying to differentiate this piece out away from the traditional science fiction, so that we have something that is more solidly in our realm of mathematics. Hopefully this has been interesting to you. try to find some mathematics to share with someone else in your part of the world. Mathematics can be studied all over. Cheerful Calculations.